say that Joseph finally caught a lucky break. Well, because from this point on in Joseph's life, as you will see, everything seems to go right. He doesn't really have any setbacks now. Life is good. Some would say that he's living in Lucky Town, and that's just simply not the case. Joseph was as much in God's will in prison as he was, and will be, in the palace. That's so important for us to understand, because it is key for us to know that your circumstances don't define God's favor. Your circumstances don't define God's favor for you. Just because things are good doesn't mean that, oh, God's happy with you. Just because things are bad doesn't mean that God's upset with you. Your circumstances don't define God's favor. God had a plan, and Joseph needed to be as useful and usable in prison as he would be in the palace. It's so important to understand. You may not be in a palace right now. You may not be in the palace right now. In fact, you may be in a prison. Some sort of prison in your life. Perhaps it's an emotional prison or a financial prison or a relationship that feels like a prison. There's so many different kinds of prisons that we get caught in. Sometimes we deserve to be in those prisons. We have no one to blame but ourselves for the circumstances and for what's happened and for our imprisonment. Sometimes we're in prison unjustly, just as Joseph was. But here's the key question. How usable are you in your prison? How usable are you in your prison? And how able and available are you to God right now in your prison? How you respond to God in the prison will define how you respond to God in the palace. If you can't get things right with God in the prison, things aren't going to be right in the palace. You know, if you do one of these deals with God, you know, say, okay, God, if you'll get me out of this, then I'll serve you. You're blowing steam. That just doesn't work that way. And you know it doesn't work that way. You want it to work that way, but it doesn't. If you are not right with God and can't serve God in the prison, then you're not going to be able to be as functional as you can be in the palace.